This episode is brought to you by Freestyle Photographic Supply.
I think if we support this project, the homies at Harman won't stop at just Phoenix. They have more plans to expand and maybe even one day take over the world. We're talking possible plans for 120, fixing the possible plans for 120, plans for 120.
Yeah, so you saw the title. They done did it. Less than 1 year later, they done made Phoenix rise from a bigger ash pile to create a bigger negative. Because that is how film is made. When Harman first announced Phoenix in 35mm, they were hoping that the campaign would be successful enough to bring this big bird out in 120. It feels like this is actually one of those times where a company actually listens and follows through with their words. It doesn't seem to happen often. So let's go take a trip and answer that age-old question. How is this film different from its 35mm counterpart, and how does it perform? It's a question we ask like basically every episode now. So first up on this two-part trip, my partners and I decided to brave the LA heat and visit the Japanese gardens. In my original review of Phoenix 35, we found out that this film stock is actually a contrasty mofo. In that video, I concluded that pulling or overexposing the film by one stop was ultimately the way to go. So for this episode, why don't we go in the opposite direction? You didn't come here for same different day. That's what real life is about. You don't want that here. You want to escape. Live a different life for a moment. Let me help you. So armed with my Mamiya 645 and Dose medium format backs, let's do some straight up comparisons, AB style, baby. Honestly, these two shots are not that far off from each other. You can tell that the highlights have been left in the pressure cooker a little bit longer, but they're close.
No, I don't think so.
But these next set of images definitely show a difference. Even though those highlights are a bit Orlando bloomy, the pushed image shifts the color tone drastically, moves in more of a reddish tone. Now, here's something that I never really expected. Out of these two images, I actually prefer the pushed image over the one shot at ISO 100. The same thing with the second set of images as well. I prefer the pushed image. In both of these sets, the greens are much more vibrant and lush in the pushed shots, as opposed to the ISO 100 images. Sure, I could probably get there if I did a little bit of color correction, but at the end of the day, these pulled shots win. But then you come across these pulled images. To put it plainly, they're just shit.
Woo! Woo! We're gonna run into Jason.
Now after this little roller coaster ride, we went to take a break from the sun. And yes, Lauren broke her foot a few months back right before we were about to go on our honeymoon. Been one hell of a summer, but we're making the best of it. A lot of ice cream. It's just a lot of ice cream. So far today, I'm really digging these images with the 645. And the crazy thing is that most of them were actually taken with the 80mm lens. I never shoot 80. I usually shoot my 45. It's just so dramatic. And yes, Dylan, I promise I will get this lens back to you. I won't keep it forever. I promise. Now these last two pulled images are interesting because they look great. I think what's going on here is that in the shade and with even lighting, this film holds up quite nicely. And to be fair, I never thought that was gonna happen. I thought this would be Captain Crunch's new cereal, Captain Crunchy Crunch and the Phoenix Berries. But that's not our entire story. Cause now if you're hungry for some crunch berries, oh baby, I'm gonna give you some crunch berries.
True story. I am back.
Now, it wouldn't be a Phoenix review without returning to the place where it all began. I decided to come back to Lake Isabella a second time and shoot this film in a different way. Here in the setting sun, not too harsh, not too soft, I would strap on my boots and push Phoenix to its limits. For this first roll, I ended up pushing the film by one stop. So far, I have to say that these shots are pretty fantastic, and I am truly in love. Now in this shot of the fence, you can tell that the shadow detail is kind of muddy, but like in a mud face mask kind of way, you know, one that's good for your skin.
Oh, baby. I think it's time to put another roll in.
So far, we've only been here for like 15 minutes, but I was flying through this roll. 10 shots later, and I was drunk. Drunk on these barns, that is. I think I have a barn fetish. And no, I will not apologize for it.
That's what dreams are made out of. This right here. Dreams.
Now that I was hopped up on some hot barn action, it was probably time for me to come down from that high. So let's do something crazy and push some Phoenix 2 stops to see how much pain I can really endure. Yeah, this is painful, and not in a good way. I don't know why I took this shot. Going right to the negative, you can see that overall pushing film 2 stops results in a very thin negative. As thin as Wormtail's ever-thinning hairline. Boom, Harry Potter joke made it in. I knew you were waiting for it.
It's a little muddy around here.
So this one right here is actually nice. Sure, the shadow detail is gone to hell, but it actually kind of works for this image. The greens, while fogged, are a nice complement to the light peeking through the barn. And yes, we are in a town that is entirely made up of population halation. I'm not quite sure Harman did anything to try to manage the halation there. To be honest, it never quite bothered me in the first place, but I do understand it's heavy. And not for everyone.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This is what dreams are made out of, guys. Lovely light and fantastic photography. I mean, the fantastic part's gonna come a little later when I see the shots, that is, obviously. But I'm feeling pretty good about them. I mean, how can you not? Honestly, the Phoenix is gonna give these bad boys some vibey vibes for sure, so it's gonna be good stuff. I gotta find Jason now.
Yes, this is another shot where looking at the negative, you would think all hope is lost and the detail is gone. And you're not totally wrong there. These shadows are ghoul green and kind of beyond all belief. Now, before we get too much further with the finest Phoenix around, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Freestyle. Freestyle has been hanging around this channel for a while now. Not as long as they've been around town, which is about 75 years now, but long enough for you to know that they are the place to go for anything photography related. They're one of the biggest suppliers for film photo equipment in the country, supplying schools, mom and pop shops, and they even supply the big guy themselves, B&H. Whenever I am in the market for expanding my photo journey, Freestyle is always there supplying me with what I need to take that step even further. When I started enlarging my own prints, Freestyle was there for all my chemistry, papers, and accoutrement that I needed to make my prints awesome. Not to mention that Freestyle has one of the biggest collection of films you can ever see. You will find things there that you never knew existed, and at some of the best prices around. They even got some Phoenix there. So whether you're shopping online for some new film, or some supplies, or even some camera swag, Freestyle has you covered. Either visit them in their LA location, or visit them online. Okay, let's get back to some of that sexy barn action. So yeah, pushing this film 2 stops is not really gonna be your friend. No bueno. However, I'm not totally mad at the look of these shots. To be fair, the location probably is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. So after a hot shooting sesh, we grabbed our usual Vaughn's dinner and headed back to the hotel. I don't know if the pretzel bread is my favorite, but overall ain't bad.
5 a.m. in a hot room, 5 a.m. in a hot room. It's hot in this room. It's actually colder outside than it is in here. 5 a.m. in a hot room.
Now, I can't leave you hanging on a film that has been decimated by forcing them to be, well, drowning in C41 chemistry longer than intended. So this morning, Jason and I went to another location for sunrise, one that you might remember from the past. So overall, did we learn much today? Yeah, I think we did actually. I think I learned that pushing Phoenix 2 stops is not the best thing in the world. I would rather chop up a jalapeno and accidentally touch my eyes. That's drastic.
What dreams are made out of. I think I say that a lot, but it's whatever.
I also don't think this film was updated in any way to a newer version, but I kind of didn't expect it to be. I still think shooting this film at ISO 100 is the best way to go, but, you know, the AI upscale to Phoenix performs quite well. I'd say that it's better than 35, but I think that has everything to do with the inherent qualities of medium format. The sharpness and grain were well controlled. Now that I've shot a fair amount of Phoenix at both formats, I have to say I'm quite fond of it. The thing is, I could go grab a pack of Portra and get stunning images, but Phoenix has character. Character a lot of other films kind of have perfected out. My hope is that Harman improves this line of Phoenix, but keeps the character. And when creating a better version of Phoenix, one that's maybe more pro-leveler, they just add a new film to the lineup and gives us the option between Phoenix and, I don't know, Harman Pegasus 400. Well, that'll do it for me today. Let me know in the comments below if you plan on picking some of this Phoenix up in medium format. And until next time, go shoot some stuff.